Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hops Report. I am LT.
And I'm Bacon.
Give me something on that one.
All right.
All right. Let's talk some beer.
All right.
Is that what we're doing? Let's drink. No, let's drink beer.
Let's talk beer.
Let's talk beer. That's our new phrase.
We're working our catchphrase out today. Thanks
That's
for your
right.
patience. You'll be amply rewarded.
You are bearing witness to the development of the best beer show on the internet. So this is the Hops Report. All right. So today we're checking out a beer. What are we checking out?
We got the Chimay Grande Reserve. This is the granddaddy of the Trappist beers. Chimay is probably the most famous of the Trappist ales. There are only 7 Trappist monasteries brewing beer in the world now. Most of them are in Belgium, although there is one in Holland.
What is a Trappist? When I hear Trappist, I think of somebody that's going out getting bear. Not beer, but bear.
Well, I don't know if they're still doing any sort of trapping, but they are a sect of monks like Franciscan or other varieties.
Okay, so there are Trappist monks.
Trappist monks.
Okay.
And they used to actually support the monastery by brewing beer and selling beer to the local village. A few of them really got the hang of it and have become almost legends in the brewing world. Been at it since the 1400s. Chimay is one of those breweries. They have modernized a bit, but it is still basically run by monks.
I know that they've got what I see in the stores, and I know that Chimay has the gift set, so you'll typically see the different varieties of Chimay with one of these types of glasses. Obviously, it has Chimay on it. But they've got 3 different types, right? They've got Chimay yellow,
red,
white,
and blue.
Red, white, and blue.
Yeah, Rouge, Blanc, et Bleu. Just like the
Rouge,
Canadiens.
Blanc et Bleu.
Yes.
And what's the difference between those 3? And obviously we're focusing here on the Granddaddy, the Grand Reserve.
Right.
But what's the difference between that and say the red and the white?
Well, the red is their standard, what we would call an Abbey ale, which is essentially it's a strong dark ale, almost like what would be popular in England as a brown ale. Their Abbey ale is essentially that. It fills that void in the British or in the Belgian market. The next one is this one, the Chimay Grande Reserve, which is the Abbey ale kicked up a couple notches. And it's very rich.
Kicked up in terms of alcohol percentage?
Alcohol, complexity, malt body, just all the way across the board. This is a much more complex ale.
When they talk about wine, when they talk about a reserve or a Grand Reserve, or say in Spain, you have a Reserva and you have a Grand Reserva. It typically refers to the amount of time the wine spends in oak and in bottle before it's released.
Well, this one will be aged longer because it's going to need the extra time to ferment the additional sugars from the higher grain bill. The higher grain bill equals more sugar, equals more time for the yeast to react with it, and to get it to that point. And it's also going to be cellared for a longer period of time to just kind of let the flavors meld together more so. And it's not aged in any type of wood, although the yeast that they use is their own strain and no one else. It's proprietary strain and it's unique to this brewery, and from the whole world nobody can duplicate it.
That's kind of like champagne. In champagne, they have a house style. There's something that they add at the end of the process. The process of making champagne is called the dosage, and that's a house style that nobody can duplicate. That's what makes every champagne house unique. So I guess it's very much the same way. You'll hear these little wine versus beer tidbits every now and again on the Hops Report. So
I could use a little help in that department, so no complaints.
Same here. I can use a little help on the brew stuff. So I'm looking forward to this.
All right. The one we didn't get to yet was the Chimay 500, which actually celebrated 500 years of brewing tradition at the Chimay Monastery. That one is what we call a triple. Usually theirs is no exception. A light beer, not in gravity, still a very strong alcohol content, but it's a light color beer. It's going to have a very champagne type texture, very bubbly, and theirs has a nice dry finish. Not that it's good, bad, or indifferent. Theirs is pretty wonderful, and it's also one that's you can find it on draft at a lot of places, which is a nice way to try it if you instead of having to go buy a bottle of it or a 4-pack of it, and you're not sure, have no idea. You can get just a glass of it usually, or you can usually get most bartenders let you try a little taste of it first. You won't be disappointed. However, this is far and away the one that really steals the show.
Is that common to triples? The whole idea of it being lighter style.
Yeah, usually triples are going to be lighter colored beer and have that champagne kind of extra bubbly. Now it's not a hard and fast rule, but it is more frequently the case. Now this one here, that was a nice pour.
Thank you.
This is a good glass to put it in. Nice goblet or a snifter. A glass that it's used a lot in Belgian beers is called a tulip glass, which is kind of a take on the snifter, where it gives you a good chance to really get the aroma in here. Now we've had this one out for probably about 15 minutes or so, and we've let it breathe, and that's going to really help a beer like this, which will open up in aroma and in flavors.
You know, when I hear about a Grand Reserve, I think of something that's going to be dark like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean this definitely meets my expectations visibly. With it's consistent with the name Grand Reserve, for me.
If you were to put the two side by side, you'd understand completely. This one's going to have some really nice raisiny, dark fruit flavors, but it's going to be they're going to kind of open up within your palate. It's not going to be you taste and say, all right, great, I taste raisin. You're going to taste a little bit of raisin. See, that's some plum, maybe that's some date, and it's going to really kind of catch your imagination and let you find new things that a lot of people never even expected to find in beer, which is one of the reasons why we carry this here at the Brooksville Brewing Company, because it challenges people's idea of what a beer should be.
It's nice lacing on this too, if I might add.
Well, have you ever heard the expression of Belgian lace?
No.
Well, a lot of Belgian beers, which are going to give you a really extra special lacing, especially the triples we're talking about. And also, Brussels was one of the finest places to get lace in the world.
Like
it still is.
Like lace that you wear.
Lace that you wear, or any type of fabric, like tablecloths, curtains, things like that. It's still actually one of the better places in the world for it. It's just a little pricier than most these days.
You think Stevie Nicks has ever been to Brussels?
If she hasn't, I'd be happy to take her.
All right. Yeah. Does this question I want to ask you is: do they use roasted malts on this?
Yeah, and
that
there's
helps
actually
the color. Roasted?
Yeah, there's a malt in particular they use called Dingemans in it, and it's very much the standard in Belgian beers. It's dark, it's rich, and it's going to give you a little bit of roasty flavor. Not too much. It's not very apparent in this one. And one thing I do note on this is for sure is I definitely can smell, and a little hint of it is the alcohol. I mean, it's definitely part of the profile. Not in a bad way.
I'm not getting any alcohol on this
catch it
at
at
all.
all?
No,
Okay.
no. Plus, I got to tell you, really, I mean, it's nice and round in the mouth. I mean, it's a nice consistency, really good flavor profile. I mean, if I was going to talk about this in wine terms, this is a really well balanced beer.
It's also got the trademark Chimay tartness from the yeast, their house yeast, which really sets it apart from most beers in America. Again, that's something that will make people think twice about what a beer is supposed to be. The Belgian yeast in general is not like the yeast that floats around in the air, pretty much at the same latitude around the whole world.
Yeah.
You get pretty much the same yeast, except for this little pocket of the world where Belgium and France and Holland all intersect a little bit. And the wild yeast strains there are completely unique and give a flavor that nobody can duplicate.
You know, we're probably running out of time. I definitely want to get into viscosity. I'm seeing that this wine is pretty viscous. Like if I had to say this beer had legs, it does. This beer is it's kind of clinging to the sides, and in wine terms, that means it either has it's high in alcohol or high in sugar. Same here?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is I compare this one to like a port wine or something with a higher, probably Grand Reserve. I mean, that's what it sounds like what you're talking about.
Yeah. This is delicious.
Well, this is really. It's been a little while since I've had one of these, and I'm glad I revisited it because this is one that should definitely be recognized for.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for the Hops Report, I'm LT.
And I'm Bacon.
And good in you.
Good in you.